Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is another lesson. We're gonna call it that whore is at it again. And the whore, of course, the whore of Babylon, which, or I mean, America is the whore, okay, and it's Babylon the Great as well. All right, so America's that whore that's back at it again, and that's how we know that we living at the end. We're in the time of 2020, the year of prophecy. You know, as Apostle I coined it through the Spirit, and we see it because every day, and this was heavy on me. I was like, man, I can't go to sleep without saying something. The Spirit was, like, nah, just got it. Because scriptures was coming to my head, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there because it's the time, man. It's the time. And right now, you see they're doing all these different. The lockdowns are starting back up. The austerities, and they're not playing, man. They're not playing. And we used to always bring out one of the things. It was that video. Damn, I don't know why I can't never remember the video. The chick name, what was her name? Lindsay Hunter or whatever in the video. When they first was bringing out the black hole, this is going back 99 or something like that, 98. I forgot the name of the video. Again, I always forget the name of the video. But anyway, they were speaking about the Gurkha troops that they have, these soldiers, these basically mercenaries from other countries that don't speak no English. So they're not going to give a damn about rolling up on you cats, And we, in those times that they were speaking about back then, are the times of the concentration camps, in the times of just basically martial law. All right, you hear that word so much, it's starting to become a common name or common thing. You hear a lot of people speak about it. Before it was like foreign, but now people hear it a lot. But you're gonna actually be seeing it. We're living in it actually, and you got the United States, which is the United States of America, which is the whore in the Bible. I'm gonna go to the scriptures on it, of course, through the Spirit. They're stirring shit up. They're stirring shit up. You had the one National Guard. He said, "Look, with the protesters, they're gonna be using those different heat guns that they could shoot at you, and make you feel like you on fire. So they could legally get away with that, man. You're gonna feel like you burning the hell up your skin. People gonna be crying on the ground, rolling up, and it's just whatever radiation that they shooting at you. And they got other guns to make you, they got actual lasers and stuff. They got things that'll knock you out. They got sonic weapons. They got all these different type of weapons that they're gonna be using on different type of grenades, different type of bombs and everything. So they could, and don't think you're doing nothing with these fake protests, right? Which is staged and it's all the same BS at the end of the day. But they could clear a crowd quick, all right, with what they got. Because remember, Esau's weapon that going back to, because this so-called white man is Esau that the Bible speaks of. Maybe not in this show, but in the next show, I'm gonna do even more proof on that. And it's all coming out. Everything is coming out, man. All you brothers got to do is just watch, and you're gonna see, and because they ain't got to believe us, man. The prophecy is gonna speak for itself. I tell you that in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. The prophecies are just gonna, gonna rip. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't got to listen to us, man. Although they do hear us, but they, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't listening. They think that they could wish away the destruction of America. Nah, you can't wish away this thing is coming, man. All right, and seeing what Esau's doing, which the Most High got him set up. But anyway, pardon for the long introduction. Now, as you see here, this is an article from RT News, right? But I want to jump to another art. This is a recent one. It was one that was yesterday. This is September 20th, not too long ago. But you see it. It says Washington unilaterally reimposes UN sanctions on Iran despite opposition from UN Security Council members. You see? So this is a very important thing that's going on behind it, including U.S. allies. All right? And this thing is big because, remember, Trump the other day, he threatened. We're gonna come back to this, but this was the original article right here. See if this will let me go to it. I might have to. Okay, all right, I can go to it from here. And remember, Trump was talking all this shit because they supposedly got word that they were gonna bomb a U.S. embassy in South Africa, I believe it was, a certain official, and he said, "Look, the response is gonna be what 1,000 or 10,000 times worse if you do anything." Trump's talking all that shit, and they're trying to push these sanctions on him. All right, because that's what they do. All right, that's the spirit, and these are the same Romans. This is Rome all over again. That was a practice Rome did too. Rome would starve you out. They'll set up sieges, you know, like that's what Masada was all about. They'll set up sieges over you. Well, they do it today in the form of sanctions, meaning nobody, because everything is imported and through trade. Okay, that's what you want to talk about. What made America great? What made America great is because of what? It's a great trading ground. That's why it's always been so much, what you call it, over the ports and everything. It's been so much conflict, the Panama Canal and everything. That's why they never was going to give that back to the people. All right, because there's so much money that's being made with all the imports. So everything that comes over here is imported. That's why everything's made in China, made in this place. You see, and now we're seeing these things happen, and this is beautiful too, man. This is beautiful. Now, matter of fact, before I read this, let me get the scripture here. We got that in the cut, but let's get Habakkuk real quick. Hold on a second. Habakkuk chapter 2, and I started the first verse. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." Right? Speaking about the vision, speaking about the prophecies. And the prophecies of what? The prophecies of the destruction of America, which is Babylon the Great, the whore that sitteth upon many waters. That's all speaking about America, man. And it is, the tables is the scriptures. Verse 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time." And we're in that appointed time. See, that's what people are not understanding. You know, and here it is, they see everything, but they still don't see it. It's like they're blind. You know, it's happening right before their eyes, but they don't see it, in other words. You know, here it is, you got the earthquakes in diverse places. It said, "Thou shalt be visited, the Lord of hosts, by storm, tempest." We got all kind of storms that never, record-breaking, mind you. All these different things, like the fires, record-breaking fires. Damn near the whole West Coast, or the California, Oregon, and other states are on fire, man. Just on fire. Acres of acres are just burning down. You know? Burning down. People are actually dying in these acres. Okay, that's all prophecy of what was going to happen in the end time. And Yahweh Shai told the disciples how you're going to know when he's about to come back. Because you're going to see all these things happening. He said in Luke the 21st chapter, the Lord said, when you see all the distress of the nations, the perplexity upon them, because everybody right now is nervous, especially with them using this the coronavirus thing, man. That got a lot of people bugging. Now they got the lockdown in Israel. They're probably gonna have it in India if they don't have it already. But then again, where they gonna lock them down? They already live in the streets and everything. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna implement it in Europe. They're trying to push it in Europe, over in the UK. And in the midst of all these lockdowns and quarantine, look what they're doing, man. It basically, man, World War III. All right, World War III. Okay, that war that everybody, the infamous war between the United States and Iran. Okay, Iran and Israel, because Israel is to the United States like the United States is to Israel. Okay, and remember, Israel, they said they're not waiting on nobody. When they're ready to bomb Iran or do anything to Iran, they're going to just do it. But now it's to the point where and it's because, of course, like it tells you in the prophecy in Ezekiel the 38, 38, where the Lord told Russia to be a guard unto them and to these other nations. So this thing is happening, man. All right. But now back in verse 3, it said, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak," and we at the end, and it is speaking and not lie. The Most High ain't never lied. It says, though it tarry means what? Like it's taking long, right? It said, though it tarry, wait for it. And that's the key thing. You got to still wait. It is about patience. All right. If you a person that's not into patience, then you better pray for patience. If you just a nigga, you got niggas that I want it all right now, then and there. They want to see it with a nigga. The truth ain't for a nigga. All right. You go back, you go into this world and you just go and take some flames, nigga. All right. Because this truth ain't for niggas, man. It said, though it tarry, wait for it. Because it will surely come. This is a sure bet. It will not tarry, meaning it ain't going to be taking long. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up in him, is not right. Speaking about these devils, all right? His soul that's lifted up in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, all right? And that's another thing, too, about this devil. That's how we know that he's Esau, okay? And he is a proud man, all right? The wine that it's not talking about a bottle of Merlot when it says he transgressed by wine, meaning his sin is what? His philosophy. He goes over there and destroy these countries and set up democracy and basically take over the country and their resources and everything. All right, this robbery. It said he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right, because you got different embassies and militarized zones throughout the world. You got the United States Army all over throughout Africa, throughout Europe, throughout the Middle East, out in the seas, out over in China, Korea, right? So it says, neither keepeth at home. So how you can't see that the Bible is the truth and it's speaking about what's going on now? Who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and could not be satisfied. Hello? Look at this devil, man. He just keeps stealing and stealing till he can't no more. You see? He's out there trying to steal things out of the sea. You know, this damn devil, man. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and he heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting parable against them, meaning against America? All right, because this is the major kingdom in this time. This is the figurehead or the number one or they're supposed to be the number one superpower. But now you got these other nations that beg to differ. And when I read the article, you're going to see because they're not scared. Nobody's not scared of America no more, man. They don't, put no fear in nobody's heart. All right. It says, shall not all of these take up a parable against them and a taunting proverb, right? Remember that, a taunting proverb against him and say, woe unto him. Woe meaning what? Death and destruction. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Who's guilty of that, man? Whose land was this? Was this not the Native American Indians' land? Huh? So it said, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. Because he keeps taking it till he don't got it, he can't take no more. All right? And a lot of times, don't be surprised if a lot of those fires were set on purpose, man. Just like Nero. Nero is a perfect, example, which, hey, he could be, at one time I thought he was Giuliani. I think a few of us did. And maybe he still is. Or he could be this Trump. Because all of them, you got to understand, and tell you that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the thing that have been is that which shall be. So all of these different rulers that you see ruling, they go back. They go back to the ancient times. In other words, these presidents are the Caesars, because this is Rome all over again. You see. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to the scriptures, but now let me start getting into this right here, and this is again out of RT, right? And it says the Iranian chief warns Trump of retaliation if a hair comes off of Iran and Iranian's head amid rising tensions as U.S. threatens sanctions. And there's been little things going back and forth. And I believe, I'm not sure, I think it was in Iran where they executed, it was a fighter, I don't know, was he a wrestler? somebody, he got, I think he was being accused of being a spy or something like that. And the United States was trying to get him to not execute him. I mean, I don't correct. I mean, don't quote me on it. I can't remember if he was a bot. It was a UFC guy that basically had. It was a fight last week. The Jake he won his match, but I, I don't know if he knew the guy or he just messed up over because the guy was protesting. He was protesting, and they said that he that's what he did. They said he fucked up a cop or something, two cops or whatever. He was out there protesting, and they had him basically about to execute him, and they was trying to get a stay for them not to execute him. And then the guy found out right before his match that they actually went ahead and executed him. You know, the United States was trying to get him, you know. So there's all kind of things going, little innuendos and subtle jabs going back and forth. But now they just talking, you know, Trump started talking this shit. Look at him right here in this picture holding his hairpiece together, right? But now this is what he said. He said, if a head comes off and the Iranian chief warns Trump of retaliation if a hair comes off an Iranian's head amid rising tensions as U.S. threatens sanctions. Because this is what they keep talking about. Pardon me. Oh, so you look at this too. I just seen this one, man. It's Slocky. Now, off to the right over here. I wish I had the pen so I could point it on it. But it says China fires 2 missiles into sea as warning to U.S. in huge escalation. So things are being escalated. So now they're locking everything back down, but it's a war that's about to go on, man. So you're going to have all these different standoffs happening, and then they're going to be spread so thin, they're going to send in the troops and these mercenaries over here, and they ain't going to be looking to, you know, argue with you, and they're going to be looking to just kill you. You see? They're going to tighten up. They're going to come down and tighten up on people who's breaking the curfews that they put out there or any austerity, whatever laws they deeming right now, because it's martial law now. We're really under martial law now. That's why they're making up these laws as they go. That's why now you can be fined if you don't wear a mask, and they got a snitch line for these dumb, stupid snitches that are calling the line, and eventually they're gonna come and take them motherfuckers out. You know, it don't pay to be no snitch on no level, no way, no how. Because when you're especially dealing with this devil, man. All right, because he's gonna double cross you anyway. All right, but let me read on a little. It says Iran's top general didn't shy away from taking aim at Trump, metaphorically telling him to worry about his signature haircut. If the U.S. puts any Iranian in harm's way, it comes as more shots were fired in the U.S.-Iran war of words. Donald Trump sent a series of grabbing tweets Tuesday warning that any attack on Iran will be met with an attack that will be 1,000 times greater in magnitude. The fiery remarks followed media reports claiming Tehran considered assassinating Lena Marks, the U.S. ambassador in South Africa. It didn't take long for Iran to return the threat, with the chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, General Hassan Salam, it says, taking a direct swipe at Trump this Saturday. He told local media that retaliation against a potential U.S. action will be serious, as we will prove everything in practice. Like, in other words, we're going to show you better than we could tell you. They're not playing. He said, if a hair comes off an Iranian head, we'll blow off all your fluff. Talking about the hairpiece. He said, we'll blow that whole fluff off your head. So, and again, like brother said, this could be them trying to stage like a fake Trump assassination. So, to go right into the martial law, suspend the elections. They could bring someone from the Homeland Security or someone from out of the fucking dirt that nobody know who he is calling the shots. You know? Just like they showed you in all these movies that we used to make reference to. Okay? So now, let me see. Let me get a certain point. It said the simmering U.S.-Iran feud has escalated in recent weeks, mostly due to Washington threatening to snap back UN sanctions under the 2015 nuclear deal. The U.S. walked out of the very same deal in 2018, but insisted on being within its right to bring the punitive measures back. Right? So, because why? For the longest, we've been telling you that Esau, like scripture speak about that stout look. You got America that, and the UN, they think that they're the top, which they are, the top in a sense, but they like to look down upon all the rest of the members of NATO, all right, which goes into the beast when you read in the scriptures. So you got all these other different nations that just ain't feeling America, man. And they don't agree with what they want to do. Now they want to sit there and freeze out Iran and go back to the nuclear deal, which means they're not supposed to make any no type of nuclear weapons or nothing, no type of weaponization from nuclear missiles from enriching uranium. And the fucked up part about it, but the United States can still continue they can still continue building their nuclear program. You see? It said last month, Washington suffered a humiliating defeat at the UN Security Council after most of its members, including Britain, France, all right, allies of the United States, and Germany, who continue to stick to the nuclear pact, rejected the U.S. bid to trigger the sanctions return. They said, nah, we ain't with that. They said, nah, fuck that. We're not doing that. No, we voting against it. You see? It didn't stop the U.S. from trying again because, again, it said he's a proud man, all right? The pride of thine heart. Matter of fact, since we're quoting it, let me go to the scripture on it real quick. Obadiah. It says, get to the point. Verse 2, it says, behold, I made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. You see, so that's why they keep pushing, because Esau would not, take no for an answer, man. He would not be denied, man. Esau is like a real bitch, man. So he's gonna keep coming back. This whole thing with the shutdown, this thing ain't over, man. Esau is very vindictive. They tell you to forgive and forget. We're supposed to forget about slavery. They're taking slavery out of the books, right? They want to take slavery out of the books. But they had an article, which I ain't going to it because the way they got it now, if you sit there and speak the truth, especially about, the big nose people, then they really get mad at you if you talk about the big nose people. Even though you're saying the truth, they just get mad because they don't like nobody to know what they did, how foul, how cruel, how they robbed everything, how they lied and claimed to be something that they're not. But they had the audacity to sit there and say, this was in the newspaper the other day, they said pretty much all the kids, I don't know if they said 20 and older, they have no idea about the big nose people supposed history of supposed, whatever they supposedly went through, which we know it to be a hoax. You understand? So you got them having the nerve sitting there like they're in an uproar that no young people know about what they supposedly went through, the hoax they went through. This is the big nose people showing you the hypocrisy because they want to erase slavery to the so-called Negroes and Native American Indians as if it didn't happen. Now they call that migration. They said, "Oh, it was just they were migrating," Show you how foul they are, man. But it said, "The pride of that heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high." All right, and that's Esau. Esau, he likes to, live in the high rises and everything. Okay, the scriptures tell you you're not supposed to build, over 3 stories, I believe it is in the scriptures. But you got these devils building 10th floor, 28th floor, 40 floors, up to 100 floors and then some. You see? Because why? It's reminiscent of Esau being in the rocks, man. Not even just the Caucasus Mountains, but going back to Mount Seir. All right, they actually had a city in the mountains. All right, they carved it out of the rocks. They made it out of the rocks. They said, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's why Trump is talking like he's talking, because that's the spirit that's on these devils, man. And we've been telling you this for the longest. We've been telling you this is how they feel, but the Most High is going to interrupt them and he's going to take them down, and the Lord is going to deliver us. The Lord is going to save us, man. We've been telling you this for the longest. It says, though thou exhort thyself as the eagle. And wait a minute, can I find it? Now they had let's see, I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Because I was gonna do a show on it, but I didn't get a chance. It says, let me see. Type in Donald Trump. And put eagle. Because remember, it said, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, right? I'm pretty sure you brothers probably seen it the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, nah. Oh, no, I ain't know that. Bald eagle attacked Trump during a photo shoot. Wait, hold on, brothers. What the fuck is this? Is that real? This guy's see. Fuck all this commercial shit. Oh shit! I don't remember this one. Look at that. He saw it with an eagle. That's why Trump's messed up. He fucked his toupee up. Nigga had to smooth his toupee back out. Look at that eagle. The eagle was about to tear his ass up, man. It really was because of that damn toupee. He said, man, look, man, we bald eagles. You ain't supposed to have no toupee on. You're supposed to be bald headed. That's what he went for, the toupee. That's crazy. Now he's trying to take a chunk out of his ass. But Slocky, but that wasn't what I was looking for, though. I never seen that. But let me see. Okay, yep, here we go. It was in the post. They had it. Now it says Trump's ego persona could slay Biden's dove in election. Personality expert. And look again, they got the eagle right there with Trump. So it's showing you, showing you that Trump is compared to an eagle. All right, that was all I wanted right there, is to show them together. The other thing, I ain't know that the eagle went for that damn hairpiece, man. He said you're supposed to be a bald eagle like me. Eagles don't wear toupees. But now that's how we know the scriptures to be true, because you know what I'm saying. Who else is known for using an eagle in this day and age that we in, right? Okay, is that Pornhub now, right? Okay, whatever. So now, back over here in Obadiah, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, Slakia, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So that's showing you what the Most High is going to do according to the prophecy. He's going to bring these devils down. Now I'm going to jump down real quick. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy, which is the allies, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. So this is future tense, because Esau's still in power, America's still in power, but the reason why they're going to prevail, because the nuclear missiles that they have, and they all have these nuclear missiles, the Lord is going to allow these missiles to be shot off, and the Lord is going to guide them right to their targets over here in America. And they're going to hit their targets, man. And that's how America is going to be burnt with fire. You see, that's prophecy. Now, I'll go back to the article. It says, let me see. Now let me go back to the original article. See, that was the article from the other day. Now this is them doubling down. So again, I'm gonna read it again from the top. It says Washington. Here it is. This is after all the other UN nations. We just read it. France, right, and others. They said, nah, we not with that. We not with that sanction. We ain't voting for that. So now this show you the pride, though, again, of Esau. Washington unilaterally reimposes UN sanctions on Iran despite opposition from UN Security Council members, including U.S. allies. Look at this devil, Pompeo. Pompous. Why would you have a name like that, Pompeo? It says, and listen at it. Look at it. And the scriptures speak about these devils, how they, you know, they speak so proudly, man. It says Mike Pompeo has claimed that the U.S. is ready to punish countries that won't comply with the newly reintroduced sanction on Iran. However, the UK and France defied Washington, all right, saying the relief agreed under the Iran deal will remain, meaning they're going to keep giving them whatever funding and everything they need. They said we're not getting into this because you want to put a sanction. So now this is how they all. And remember, as soon as Trump, the bald head eagle himself, as soon as he came in office, he was talking shit about a lot of these NATO members, saying he said they need to be kicked out of NATO because they ain't paid back their debt that they owe the United States. You see, and then just like they was talking about Puerto Rico when that the earthquake that rocked through there, right? And was it a hurricane too that ripped through there? And how they delayed, they was real late with the response. Talking about, well, Puerto Rico still owes us money. They're still in debt. Yada yada yada. You see? So now this is going to backbite America, and this is what we just read in Obadiah. The Mennonite Confederacy, pardon me. All right. Matter of fact, let me bring that part back out again. Verse 7. All the Mennonite Confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. See, there's a trap. And they're working in tangent behind the scene. These countries are working with Iran because everybody's tired of the United States, man. There's none understanding in them. You see? It says, this is Pompeo. Virtually all UN sanctions have returned. He announcing this is not too long ago. Well, 8 o'clock last night, actually. All UN sanctions have returned on Iran, the leading state, which is not true because the whole UN wasn't with it. You see? It said the leading state sponsor of terrorism and anti-Semitism. They just putting that label on it. And again, if you go against the grain, this is how they do. It said this includes a permanent extension of the arms embargo. This is great news for peace in the region. So they just trying to totally destroy them, disarm them, take everything away from them. He said, if UN member states fail to fulfill their obligations to implement these sanctions, the United States is prepared to use our domestic authorities to impose consequences for those failures and ensure that Iran does not reap the benefits of UN prohibited activity. So they're going to try to come against these other states too. Now they're threatening these other states because they clearly said voted against it, man. It says, where was the other one at? It says, hours before Pompeo's announcement, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif called on the international community to stand against the Trump administration's latest move against Tehran. The Americans, as a rule, act as a bully and impose sanction. The world community should decide how to act towards bullying. And that's what the United States been doing for the longest, man. But that's how, again, we know the Bible to be true. Now, we'll go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter, right? I probably won't get to everything I want to get to, but, just hit the main points. All right, this is Isaiah 14, and I'll start at 4. It said that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. The king of Babylon, which Trump is the puppet king. He's the acting figure, the figurehead of America, right? It says, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? Because that's what America is all about. It's all about oppression on every level, from, whatever money you make, labor, slave labor, from robbing you, okay? Oppressing you. You can't even, you got to watch what you say. You can't even speak the truth. You speak the truth, that's considered a crime. They want to delete your videos and so forth and so on. So it said, how have the oppressors ceased? meaning the one that's setting up all these sanctions. When you set up sanctions over people, that means that you're an oppressor. You're oppressing that country. You put in a sanction that they can't trade their mineral oil or whatever resource they have to bring back food for their country so they could feed their people. Then that's being an oppressor. Okay, because why? That's how everybody eats through trading and everything, and that's again what's made America great. All right, without the stock market, there's no economy here really in America, man. You see, and that's why they always trying to inflate it and keep pumping all this gas into it because they know that once it totally bottoms out, and remember how low it got during the last pandemic of quarantine, and that's why they had to open up a lot of these businesses because a lot of them wouldn't have came back, and they didn't want all of them to go out of business. They wanted some of them to go out of business. They wanted to get rid of the weaker businesses, the mom and pop stores that might have been left, or but a lot of the chains, they wanted to make sure that they stayed afloat. But a lot of these pretty much, if they would have kept the quarantine, just imagine the quarantine was still on, it would have never opened up the government or whatever. It'd have been all out anarchy, chaos. People would have said, fuck it. They'd have took their chances of going out there against the, orders and getting shot, defying a curfew. So, that was just a different phase that they were doing, and it's trial and error. You see what I'm saying? And they got the results that they wanted. Now it's on to the next phase, the next phase of things. Okay? And trust me, it ain't too much more. You got a lot of people that barely survived. And when you go talk to these people, these restaurant owners and everything like that, because restaurants are big in America because nobody cooks. Nobody knows how to cook, especially in like the Northeast. Everything is, quick on the go. Everything is just about production, moving quick and everything up here. So all these big food chains, restaurants, supermarkets, a lot of them can't weather the storms. They're not doing good now because because with the social distancing, they're still not getting the traffic that they used to. Now they've been predicting about a worse case of COVID coming back, and they're gonna do the the lockdown again, another quarantine, right? They were saying around, if I remember right, October, November, somewhere around there, and it's gonna be on, and it's gonna be crazy out here, man. You see, but it said the oppressor have ceased, so that's what's coming up though. At the end of the day, Esau is gonna be laid down. The Lord is gonna allow, which right now, look at these other nations. They ready. Everybody's ready for war, man. The golden city ceased. What's the golden city? America, man. And there's people that came here, if you talk to older folks from other countries, they heard stories and they came here because they wanted to see it for themselves. They were told that the streets were paved in gold, they basically made people think that this was the kingdom of heaven, you see, which is a damn lie. It says, the Lord have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, their power structure. That's what the staff and scepter represents, their power. He who smote the people in wrath, see? And that's what the guy is saying. He's saying, look, they're bullying. They're a bunch of bullies. They're trying to bully everybody, which normally they always did that and they didn't get no resistance, especially when they had when they was the first one with the atomic bomb. Nobody couldn't say nothing to that, man. They'd drop a bomb on your country and you know what I'm saying, make your town into a memory, man, the way your country be fucked up for the next 200 years until they recover from that one. And still don't recover, So, they people bowed down. And that's why it's a day that your bread deceived you. They laid a trap. They had no choice but to play humble. And they learned from the best of them. Basically, a lot of these other nations are applying what they seen Esau do. Esau went crouching and acting all innocent and setting up all these other countries. That's how they took over the known world. They took down all the dark nations. They took down all the strongholds and bankrupt all these countries and put them in debt and paid mercenaries to assassinate certain key figures in these different regions around the world to the point where they have the control of the whole earth. All right, where they got their influence all throughout this whole earth. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he didn't let up. He that ruled the nations in anger." I mean, the main hell is being put upon the nation of Israel, but they put that hell upon all these other nations too. It's persecuted and none hindereth. So now his time is coming where he's going to be persecuted, man. You see, you reap what you sow. And the persecution that's coming for here in America, man, ain't nothing nice, man. All right? Because first of all, they're going to lose everything that's here. Everything the scriptures say is going to be burnt down. Not even a piece of grass left. Not even a grassy field. All right? It's going to be all a stubble. Okay? A desert. As the scriptures say. It says the whole earth is at rest and it's quiet. They break forth into singing. All right? So yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. See? Meaning now you're going to start catching hell. You're going to go into slavery, because we got to bring that out too. Because a lot of these Edomites, they fail to realize, or they think that they could get themselves out of going into slavery. Nah, you're going to go into slavery. Even if you die, you come back. It's a thing called reincarnation in the Bible. The Bible teaches you and shows you reincarnation. If you don't see the scriptures that break down reincarnation, then clearly you a demon. Clearly you an idiot. Clearly you're unlearned. Clearly the Most High is not dealing with you. You see? That's the bottom line. Because Howard Shai taught it. He straight up came out and told you. He told you John the Baptist was Elijah, the prophet that was foretold to come. So when you sit there and say you don't know about reincarnation, you bugging. So you die because your spirit goes back to the Most High until it's time for you to come back on the earth. And the next time you Edomites, so-called white people, and you other nations, man, anybody outside of the Israelites, you're going to go into slavery under the Israelites, man. That's why it's important, and it's a good thing to know who you are, to know that you're an Israelite, if you truly are an Israelite, out of whatever prospective tribe you may be from. All right? It says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? You see? Because why? They got the same power that they got. That's why Esau can't just straight up just run over there and they would have been bombed Iran. If Iran was such a bad guy and had all these so-called anti-big nose people plots and everything, they was trying to do all this and that, they would have went over there and ransacked Iran and claimed it the big nose land or whatever, right? For them idiots. So it's showing you that listen, they're not in control of nothing, for one, and they know that if they do that, it's repercussions. Okay, Iran got allies. Iran got, is being backed by Russia. Russia has interest in it. China has interest in Iran. There's other nations. So now all these same other nations are superpowers just as you. So it says, "Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave." And ain't my man calling himself Mike Pompeo? Huh? Don't this guy call himself Mike Pompeo? This guy right here, see, that pomp is brought down to the ground. That's what the scriptures say, man. You see? It said the Americans, as a rule, act as a bully and impose sanction. The world community should decide how to act towards bullying. Washington's unilaterally imposed UN sanctions on Iran are enforced starting at 12 a.m. On Sunday. All right? It says tensions between Iran and the U.S. Okay. So they said with all of that, we still, because why? He's Pompeo. All right? That's the spirit of America, of Esau. Pomp. Pompous bastards, man. That's why the Lord said right here, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Showing you it's an actual man that is speaking about. You see? It's telling you right there, letting you know. It says, and Lucifer means a light bearer, because right now, on this side, they are the light bearer. You know what I'm saying? They are the light bearer. So it says, how how thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations. Because at one point they did have all the other nations shook. You see. Now I'm gonna hit Revelation 17 and wrap it up on that. Hit a few points real quick. Go to Revelation 17 and start at 11. And the beast that was, it's going into the prophecy. All right. It said, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth. Now speaking about America, and is of the seven, which is of the seven, meaning the UK. All right. Because America came out of Great Britain. It says, and goeth into perdition, meaning destruction. All right. Just like what we was reading about in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, is going into perdition. That's why it said, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, right, which is the EU, right, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, as they turn and form NATO, all right, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which the majority of the nations in NATO are the same that's inside the EU. You know what I'm saying? I forget the actual numbers, 21 out of 20. Now that, they added a bunch of other nations and stuff, but was it 21 out of the 27 NATO members are EU members or something to that effect? But it says these have one mind, you see, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right, which is NATO. It says these shall make war with the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, Lord, and the Lamb shall overcome them, and they're gonna be destroyed. That's why you're seeing all these chariot sightings throughout the whole world. There was another one today in Liverpool. All right, a bright green chariot out there, and it was nice, man. I seen the picture of it. I said, man, them chariots is beautiful, man. All right, but it says, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Speaking about the Lord's elect, which we hoping that we fall in that number, Lord willing. That's why we keep fighting. Saying, he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, this is a breakdown of the image, right? When you go above, the water which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples. Showing you that the Bible, you got to understand that sometimes it's allegorically, it's symbolisms, So it said the water speaks about people in the multitude of nations and tongues. All right. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is speaking about America. The 10 horns, which we was just reading about, the UN, which is, most of them the same nations in NATO, they shall hate the whore. And that's why you see them disagreeing with the United States. Because here it is, they were trying to strong arm them. And they're still trying to strong arm them. They're saying that they threaten them as well. So you can see how they're going to actually start hating America, man. It says, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh. Because why? They got the missiles as well, too. All right? And it says, and burn her with fire. You see? What's that fire? That's the nuclear missiles, man. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. And the Lord said his purpose is what? Destroy America off the face of the earth. I tell you that in Amos, the 9th chapter, in Isaiah, the 13th chapter, Isaiah, the 14th chapter. The Lord said he's going to sweep America with the besom of destruction. You see? It's all throughout. So it says, for the Most High put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman, which is that whore, right? And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. See, letting you know it wasn't just talking about an actual woman, talking about a great city. The great city is what? America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And that's America right now, reigning over the kings of the earth. All right, so I'm gonna end it right there. That's the main point. But just to show you about this horse, she's at it again, and we in the time that World War III is definitely in effect. Don't fall asleep. It's a lot of things happening, man. We definitely living in the days of prophecy, the prophecies at the end, you know, and the Lord is bringing His word to pass, man. All these years, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua been on the prophets, had us all going out there, the men before us, and now the Lord is just making or making it happen as He said He would, you know. So with that, I give all glory and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and say shalom to you, sincere Akim. Shalom.